Okay, so we're going to do a recap of what went on this morning. I was attacking dollar Swiss, and I got out a number of times. Around about 55 was the last one. These were all the trades: dollar Swiss, dollar Swiss, dollar Swiss, dollar Swiss, mucho dollar Swiss. So, right, let me just go through this again, trying to learn the Stacey Burke methodology. And first of all, let me think. First of all, right, so I was of the mind that, right, we're on the back side of, let's just start with a weekly template. So first of all, initially I thought, well, we're coiling to go up, and we can go up to pick some of the shorts that are in here to come down. So that was what I was thinking on the way into the session. We were over here somewhere at the time. I thought, well, we've come down, we've made some peak formations and so forth. And then as the day unfolded, if we come in on the 15, we were peaking. All right, we were making a peak form. So this is where I had the peak formation. So down here, down here, down here, and down here, higher low. W formation, pin, engulfment, trending higher. And then we had this railroad track put in. And then we had the break of structure. So at that point, I thought, well, thesis now could be that that's going to be the high of the day. And we're in fact with shorts in the market from last week. So last week's business was over here. So we're short, we're longs in the market. We've taken out the longs with that break of the daily low. So now we're shorts in the market. We're shorts again on day one, taking out last week's low. And therefore, the thesis now is that this is a day two runner. So being on the front side of this trend, the peak formation was put in early doors. Having said that, so I went short. I might have initially gone long. I can't remember now. For a break even, I think it was over here. That's right. I made some money going long, and then I went break even on the break of the structure. So then I flipped the thesis. So at this point, I turned it around. So I went long in this candle here. It would have been on a 1 minute chart. So I went long on the engulfment. All right, so this was the W formation, pin engulfment. I bought here, and it started to stall. I can't remember what the thesis was for. I took some profits off the table, and then I was break even at this point over here, something like that. Right. And then it was, okay, well, what's happening now then? Maybe we're not coming up to go down. Maybe we're coming down on a day two runner. So on the break of that trend, we're now on the back side of the front side of this trend line. And the thesis was, well, here is the M formation. We've come up into the structure over here. There's the M formation. And I went short on the engulfment here. We went sideways, and the thesis was, well, we'll come down, we'll go up. Anyway, what happened was I came out again. So I went, I can't remember if I took some money off the table or not. I don't think I did. I just went break even because it was breaking this trend line. And I was thinking, well, hold on a minute. We're coming towards the cash market and we could be heading up with a number of pushes into the low of the day. And I thought, well, we could be. So anyway, I didn't want to run into losses. Lo and behold, the market just melted. So it went right into my break-even point and then just collapsed for the rest of the day. However, at this point, I thought, well, 1, 2, 3 pushes. I thought, well, now we're coming into the cash open. This could be coming down to go up. So there was the W formation. There was the break of structure over here. And I got in on the retest of the pin. And I messed it up with a couple of entries. So I was actually in for 2R at that point. Anyway, and then I came out of that on a stop over here. So I was down a little bit for the day at that point. I'd already made some money, but I gave some back on that mistake. And we were still on the front side of the trend, and much more importantly, the more dominant trend over here. So I thought, well, okay, well, if it failed on the cash open to run higher, following a number of runs into the lows of the day, which at this point was over here. If it failed, then I'm going to stick with the old thesis, which was over here, up here, the M formation and that M formation, secondary M formation, micro M formation. That was an M formation on the 15 over here. Anyway, and then so it was a matter of, right, well, flipping the switch again and going with the flow, and so that was the break even, that was the loss. So then I sold on the basis of this being then an M formation and an engulfment and the pins and so on. And I got in on the break of structure, and I got in here on a retest of that. And then we just melted basically, and I took profits along the way. I just came out of it little by little. I think my last take profit, yeah, there it was down here. So this was actually all the way down here. So it was a 8R trade, but I took profits along the way. So we averaged out of that probably for like a 5R trade, something like that. And I thought, well, look, we're all the way down into, we've already done the ATR for the session, which was about 40 pips. The ATR for the day is 100. And I was figuring, well, look, these are the lows that we're coming into. So we're going for the prior week's lows, where there will be money because they're still in the money up until this point. And we had almost a perfect touch, I suppose, of those lows almost, I guess. But I wasn't trying to pick a bottom, so I just preferred to get out in the 50s rather than go for those lows. And so I got out on my last trade, as I said, over here, 55, I think it was my last trade. So I left, like maybe 10 pips or something, 15 pips on the table, which is fine. You don't know when that's going to end, but it was reasonable to think that we're coming down to these lows. Anyway, so that was the trade. Takeaway is staying on the front side of the move, the day 2 runner, Trade what you see, not what you think, and so forth. So it was quite a stressful morning trying to figure out what was what. I mean, if we flipped, I was looking for, maybe it wasn't the ideal setup. I was looking over at the euro as well, but I was reluctant at the time to be buying at resistance, even though everything was shaped up for a buy in terms of the market price action and the structure with the head and shoulders, the railroad tracks, the break of the structure, the timings, with the cash market opening. Um, but I was reluctant to buy at what were the highs of the day at that point. So I went back to the Swissy, where I felt, well, we're behind the okay, we're selling at what were at the time the lows of the day, but we'd already been trying to do it up here. So I was figuring, well, I've already been engaged at the highs of the day, and I'm just basically revisiting my initial thesis and flipping it back in the right direction, essentially. So that's what I went with. We were behind the trend line, the 1 hour, the micro. We'd broken structure, so this was a more of a favoured trade, and it was a plainer one to go with. So that was that. So really nice, actually, apart from that loss, but that was the mistake. That's part of trading. Um, it was reasonable to think that we were 3 pitches into the low. The micro W could have been the peak for the day, could have been the low for the day. We could have been moving up into the shorts, but instead it was a day two runner. There could be more to go, and we're looking for a midweek reversal of the shorts to go long into the shorts on Wednesday and Thursday. So improving this month. Number of trades taken. On the day we started with we started with dollar Swift. It was all dollar Swift today. Um, so averaged all up, risking 1% of the account, making 5. So it was a 1 to 5 risk to reward day. Made a loss. So lost 1 hour to make 5. So 4 hour up for the day.